I thought a great place to start that I'd like to start when it comes to Spider-Man for me is the beginning, like any place. My very first Spider-Man thing, my love of Spider-Man, it all originates from the animated series. And I just felt like that is
And
a
honestly might be still to this day the most accurate comic book why am I blanking on this word?
show.
Adaptation.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I I was
I
It
find it
feels
funny
like
how
a comic book. It feels like a comic
yes.
book
it
because
absolutely does.
as you pointed out when we were talking about Spider-Man off screen, you're like, yeah, but that's Spider-Man because I had feared that the new one's gonna be a little all over the place, and then Justin rightly pointed out, yeah, but that's Spider-Man. One minute he's fighting Vulture, the next minute he's fighting Rhino or Scorpion, the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
minute he's late to work, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's
Yeah, like I watched a
He's
curation of
kind of
episodes.
he's like your early 18 or 19-year-old man where
Yeah.
even when he's an adult, like when he's older, he's still got that energy where he's all over the map,
I
like just all
don't
over it
I don't love high school
in the best
Spider-Man.
way.
And I couldn't figure out why until this week when I'm like, that's because for me Spider-Man was never high school. Like for my entire childhood, Spider-Man was a young college guy.
He was college. He was
yeah.
young
Yeah.
Well,
college.
and that stems largely from the fact that the first Raimi Spider-Man really took a lot more from, I believe it was Spectacular Spider-Man rather than the Amazing Spider-Man that everybody claims to know and love, but a lot of people actually don't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's whichever or Ultimate Spider-Man. Sorry, not Spectacular. A lot of it came from Ultimate Spider-Man with him, being in high school, living next door to Mary Jane, because those that know,
Hmm.
in Amazing Spider-Man, Peter doesn't even meet Mary Jane until he's well into adulthood.
Does not. No,
Yeah.
no, does not. No. That's true. Yeah, and that's where the Face It Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. You're talking about the comic book run, The Amazing Spider-Man, you mean, right?
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
not the movie.
Not the movies.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, 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 absolutely. He doesn't meet her till same thing with Gwen Stacy. He doesn't meet her till like well into it. Yeah, I'm not a like there's a few things modern Spider-Man. We're going to touch on them a bit today. I don't love Spider-Man's origin being connected to Oscorp. Because as to your point, you're like, why doesn't Norman Osborn figure out that he's Spider-Man? Wait, you're saying that Norman Osborn, you did all these experiments on spiders, spider DNA, and radioactive spiders, and then a guy with spider powers inexplicably shows up? Wow, that's what
Well,
a
but my first
coincidence.
instinct,
Well-
my first instinct would be it's somebody that's working on the project.
That's what I'm
to be-
saying.
well, but to be
Uh,
fair, I mean, I would have never guessed that a high school student would have gotten accidentally bitten by a spider.
True, true. He always does get bitten as a high school student. He just usually,
Yes.
within the context of Amazing Spider-Man, he's not Spider-Man.
Well, because he has to be young enough to be a pro wrestling fan, you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I maintain the fact that they cut out the pro wrestling part of his origin in most modern iterations is a waste, and they still have roadside
It is.
professional wrestling events like that. They took it out because they didn't believe it was believable, but like it's still believable. I don't care what anyone
Well,
says.
and never mind the fact that there's more in terms when I say mainstream, I mean like on television.
Yeah.
There's more professional wrestling mainstream on today than there has been in
I'm saying
several decades.
with the internet, even
Uh,
with the internet, it's
Well, but I mean on not even the internet. I mean on legitimate television stations.
have
Like
an Amazing Spider-Man on TV. Sorry, Jordan. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was speaking of TV. I was gonna say in that '90s cartoon, isn't he's not a wrestler in that one, wasn't he? He was on TV.
No, there's an episode where they do the origin, and he does. He does perform on TV, and then he still does do the wrestling thing because he lets the guy go past him in the back of the arena. So
Okay.
yeah, he still does.
He does
That's-
both.
But me and Jordan had a riveting discussion where I said skip all of the origin shit, and I can never figure out why I don't care about Spider-Man's origin, why I don't need to see it on screen, and it's because this cartoon doesn't start with the origin. Like they don't get into his origin till like 4, 5, 6 episodes into it, and it's through flashbacks. It's mostly told through flashback. They don't waste the time of having him get by the spider. It's all in the theme song. You all know.
Well, they abide by the film rule in media res. You start in the middle of the action, and then if you need to fill in information, that can be provided via flashback, which I think. There's a lot of superhero movies. I'm not going to say they get it wrong, because sometimes origin stories are done really well. But I mean, that's a genre of filmmaking where you kind of almost should break the rules, because I mean, let's face it. Maybe excluding Batman or like your super duper mainstream ones, like most superheroes, you're not making that movie for anybody other than an existing fan base.
Pretty well, yeah, exactly.
And they already know. Like
they know he got bit by a radioactive spider and he gets sick and Uncle Ben gets killed. They know. But then it's like, if you don't do that, Marvel fans are fickle. They'll bitch about that. So they're bitching currently. Oh, we didn't see Uncle Ben. Well, yeah, because when it came time to do Tom Holland, people were like, we're sick to death of seeing Uncle Ben. So that's why they didn't do Uncle Ben.
But that's why studios, and I understand there's it's a fine line you have to walk, but like, again, this goes back to pro wrestling. Like you want to give the audience what they want, but a lot of times the audience doesn't really know what they want.
Exactly. We say that all the time.
Until you give it to them, and then they're like, oh, because I was that way with Tom Holland. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I will touch on that later, but like, I went through a journey when it came to Tom Holland. I went from not liking it at all to being like, this is awesome.
Sorry, Joy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to contrast your opinion that sometimes like skipping origins, yada yada yada. To contrast that, I think that the show, to skip ahead a little bit to one of the things I did, I think the show Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man does do the origin, but it does things differently. Yes. Makes things fresh, and does it kind of has its cake and eats it too, where it does the origin, but it also gets to do things differently and
we're gonna
kind
hit
of
the
take its fresh take.
We're gonna hit the origins a few times this week, because I will say not all Spidey origins are created equal, but there's rewatching the 90s Spider-Man was a trip, because like there's a lot of this I forgot, and I forget it. I forgot that in the first episode is the lizard. I forgot that my brain and the lizard on that show is he's growly monster lizard, but he talks. Like his plan is the plot of the Amazing Spider-Man movie, where he wants to turn people into lizard people. Like that blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, I forgot there's a Mysterio episode where he shows up as a good guy, which is basically the plot of that Tom Holland movie. It blew my mind. I was like, what?
It's almost like they follow the comics that have already been laid out.
It's crazy.
That show was very accurate. There were some frames where it was like pretty much shot for shot from the comics.
A lot of stuff. It's funny because it's a feedback loop, because a lot of the stuff of like Venom, for example, comes from this show. So like him turning Spider-Man evil, him being a space alien, all that shit. All comes from his antagonism towards Eddie Brock. Like Eddie Brock in the comics wasn't really much of a character. He was kind of a muscle-bound meathead. He didn't have a specific beef against Spider-Man in the way that he does in this show. The thing that got me this time was I forgot he's played by Hank Azaria.
Thought it was over, didn't you, Spider-Man? You made a fool of Eddie Brock whenever you could. You cost me my job, my reputation, my health, my apartment. You just won't stop till you ruin me, will you? You can't do this. I already have. You're fired. I'll get even with you if it's the last thing I do. Rejected the symbiote. Only wanted to make you stronger. Well, surprise, surprise. Now, we're one. Now, you're gonna pay. From now on, we're poison to you, Spider-Man. That's why we call ourselves Venom.
Like as a kid, as a kid, you wouldn't even notice that it's Mo Sizlak as Eddie Brock and Venom. But
all right, here's the 411, folks. Say some gangster is dissing your fly girl. You just give him one of these. Ooh, hey, ah, ooh.
I'm like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
now that you're saying that, now I can picture it. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, every third character is just Hank Azaria. It's really fun. And then every second character is Jim Cummings. Like every second one. Like he's Shocker. He's a bunch of random thugs strewn around the show.
The one with the purple mask.
Yes,
he's the one with the purple mask.
Yeah, that's my favorite. The run of 3
He just sounds like Tigger.
He just sounds like Tigger. Exactly. That's one of my favorite moments where Kingpin is trying to sell the Prometheum X to the two thugs.
Yeah.
And they're just random guys in masks, and you're like, I just feel like there's more better people, like governments or like better suited criminal organizations who could have paid more money than fuck 1 and 2. It also still contains my favorite Spider-Man line of all time, which is "Get back here, Shocker."
Get back here, Shocker! I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth.
I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. Also,
get back here, Shocker! Shocker! You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
So it's the first Spider-Verse thing. The end of the show contains the various
with the
versions of
spider
Spider-Man.
armor, which I had the physical toy of,
Yeah.
and like the mask would flip up and you'd see the face and stuff. It was really cool. I remember that toy.
Yeah, there's a reference to Spider-Bot.
I love Spider. I love that show as a kid, man.
Such a good show. And it still holds up. The only real complaint I had when I was watching it was
They're not allowed to punch.
They're not allowed to punch. They're not. But it's weird because they're allowed to kill. They're just not allowed to refer to it as death. Like the episode with Carnage.
They go to the next dimension.
He sucks their energy, their life energy out.
Yeah. Well, that's small.
Yeah. I will say the episode with Carnage, if I had to be critical, which I often am, the episode with Carnage isn't very good. Like it's
because
really,
they can't go Carnage. Like they can't.
Yeah, they can't go full Carnage, and it's also it's messy because it pulls in story elements from the previous storyline with Mordo and Doctor Strange, and it's the only reason why I know who Dormammu is. Where it's like there's still this stuff with them and Mary Jane's dad that's a holdover from one cool thing is one of the reasons I love serialized television is because this show is so serialized where it's constantly building on the events of the previous. So like when by the time
like a comic book.
Yeah, like a comic book. Yeah.
It's so weird.
It holds up. Like it's crazy how much that show holds up. How much
Who could have seen that coming?
It's still the animation still looks mostly good. There's a couple of off-frame moments where like Carnage doesn't have a face, but like it for the most part it still looks good. Like I was consistently impressed by it. I was like, you know what, I might sit down and actually watch this, like just for fun, just because I like this show.
It's just a good time,
right? I kept looking for episodes and I was like, ooh, there's that one, ooh, there's that one, ooh, there's that one. Anyway, I
mean, not for nothing, any theme song has a sick guitar track.
You know, that guy from Aerosmith,
right?
Yeah,
that guy from Aerosmith.
Not Steven Tyler, mind you, but they couldn't spend the money on the. I always thought it was Steven Tyler. No, it's the guitarist. The guitarist from Aerosmith does the music. But the soundtrack is great. Not even just the electric stuff, but the score is always good. Like it always has that like when they build in the theme song. And yeah, every version of any villain I know all comes like I kind of forgot that this is the reason why I know who Doctor Strange is. Otherwise, who the fuck would know who Doctor Strange is?
And the X-Men.
And the X-Men. Yeah, and the X-Men. The X-Men episode where he
I think.
Well, I mean, X-Men had its own really kick-ass show with
that's true.
With an equally kick-ass theme song.
It really did. It really did. But I always loved this more. I liked X-Men. I love Spider-Man. Like it's not just. I don't want to take anything away from X-Men because I like that show too, but I just don't like it as much as. I think.
I mean, they're very much made in the same breath though, because X-Men 2 was heavily serialized. It's got, for the most part, it holds up, minus some janky animation. But it's first.
It came before this. That's the thing.
This is true. Yeah.
They come back in this, and
they look shiny.
Yeah, pretty.
And this was a time where serialized television, particularly for children, was just not
a thing. No.
And like they reference, like I about floored it when in X-Men when the Morlocks came back, and I'm like, oh, they from a while ago.
Yeah. Well, like there's the
Hydro Man.
Or like there's Yeah, Venom. Venom is a character. He shows up in season 1 of the show, and then he comes back in season 2. Like that, that you're like, holy shit, there's that guy, and it doesn't
It's not just a one-off.
It doesn't feel the need to be like, oh hey, it's Venom. Remember that time that and then overly explain to you the events of what's about to happen. Like it doesn't do that, and
because they know the show's on. Yeah, they know the show's awesome and are hedging a pretty good bet that you've seen it already.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like you've watched it every single Saturday. Like this and like even
it's also
the Fox
smart
Kids,
because
man. Because like Digimon as well. Like there's a reason why we love serialized television is because we grew up on it.
So it's also smart because it's like, you know, you've either definitely seen it, which at the time, if you hadn't seen it, you were that kid who hadn't seen it, so you definitely had seen it. But if you weren't, then you were that kid who hadn't seen it, who now has to find a way to go and see it, and it just makes it more popular and makes it so that more people, you know, it's
exactly
brilliant marketing.
Does not exist in the same way. But anyway, I love that show. I thought that was a great place to start our Spider-Man journey.
Hey there, everybody. It's N-Card Justin here. Let me know down in the comments. Are you a fan of Spider-Man the Animated Series? Did you grow up with it like we did? Did it influence you in any way? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see the full podcast that this is from, our part 1 of our Spider-Verse Spider-Man special with Jake from Arte Media, you click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see the random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hey, subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week. Or you can just leave this video a like. That helps us out too. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day, everybody.